Hey there guys, in this video I'm showing off my beginner's build for the Dread. Now I've had the Dread for quite a while. It's like one of my first weapons, and also when I checked before, it's my most used weapon. And it's because I just loved the Dread when I first started playing Warframe. I thought it was really cool. I liked the style, I liked the play style made. I liked everything about it. It was just fun to use, and I really enjoyed it. But now more recently, I've kind of just gone away from the Dread. I don't use it that much anymore. I've gone to like more of these more out there, crazy kind of weapons, like the Ambrix, all that kind of stuff. Or there's like more abstract kind of ideas of weapons, and then kind of gone away from the more traditional kind of how like weapons use like bows and like assault rifles, that kind of stuff. Kind of gone away from all of those kind of weapons, all like the normal kind of weapons we use in our kind of world. And in this, I've been using the more out there ones. And that's probably the reason why I've been taking so long to put this build out, because I've had this build for quite a while. But I've just never actually used the Dread that much for the Dread and the build that I have to actually be in my mind whenever I'm like, I should do a build video today. Let's do a build video for the weapon that I'm doing I use a lot right now, not the one where I used a lot back ages ago. So that's probably why why I haven't done a build yet. But I'm just gonna put the build up now, and here we go. Let's have a little look skis. Now, I do have a better build for this weapon. This build is a little more advanced. That's why I put it up. It uses mods like Vital Sense. And that's why I haven't. This is why I'm making the video around this build. It's because this build's for beginners builds for people around Master Rank 5, a little higher kind of stuff around that kind of level. This one is a little more advanced. So I was gonna made a build for more low level players. They don't really have mods like Vital Sense. And most of the mods here, like Hammer Shot, Rim Round, and High Voltage, which mods that look a little bit rare, a little bit hard to get. They're pretty easy to get. You get them through alerts. They're very easy. I got them very early on. And if you do want them, you don't have them yet, just look at alerts constantly, and you should get them eventually. But yeah, let's get into the actual build itself. So I'll quickly show over and show what I've actually changed. So I've changed the critical chance and the critical multiplier. That's the reason for being that is that bows traditionally they're very most bows are very for critical chance. They're more aimed towards doing more critical chance, doing critical damage, all that kind of stuff. That's what they're kind of there for. They're very easy to get critical hits on. They're very easy to hit the heads, and they're very easy to aim in specific spots where you want to get those critical hits. They're just made for doing critical damage. So that's why it's always good to build for the critical damage, so that you can utilize the Dreads or just a bow's native ability of like what it's made for. So that's why I've put on critical chance and critical multiplier. So I put on point blank, and I put on hammer shot, which have increased the critical chance and critical multiplier. And that's pretty much the main reason you get it. It's because adding critical damage is just a part of a bow, so it's good to always add mods to the strength of the weapon. And then I also done status, which is being increased by hammer shot with a little bit 40% plus status. With rim round and also high voltage, which both add 60% status, both each other. And that's because again we do have we do have two secondary elements, corrosive. Elements. We got two elements, corrosive and cold. Again, the status chance, the status chance increase has been mainly added for the cold, as we're using the cold for its proc, and not any kind of it's added damage, which is what corrosive is. Corrosive is added for the opposite reason. It's added for its damage and its damage increase, and not really for its proc. Its proc's useful, but again, for a weapon like Dread, not that. Again, it's not really that useful. It's not going to be like some weapons where if you fire onto an enemy, they're going to lose all of their armor. It's only going to add like a little bit of extra damage. So it's mainly here for its extra damage, and not really for its proc. So yeah, that's why I've increased the status. And let's actually talk about the reasons why I've added the actual the elemental damage. So again, we talked about the corrosive added, as we talked about before, is for its damage, and that's pretty much it. It's not really added for its proc. Cold though is added for its proc, which if you can guess is it slows down enemies and makes them so that they're not going to coming towards you as fast. Like you slow them down, and so you're able to get those headshots a lot more, able to get those hits a lot more regularly and a lot more consistently. And that's kind of that's all it's here for, just to slow down the enemy so you can get more consistent hits. No other reason, not for damage, it's just there for that. Again, I'm kind of using these just to fill up the spot because I really had no idea. I was thinking like I should probably fill it up with element or something, but no other real element came to mind, like fire, not really. Again, lightning is kind of just more of a weaker version of cold, and also it makes the enemy move. So again, it's not really that useful. It makes the head move. So again, cold is a lot more better for what we're trying to achieve. And nothing else really came to mind when I was thinking of what I could add. So I just went with it, added cold. And again, the reasoning is kind of good. You know, I've been testing it. It does work. You know, it does slow down the enemies. And yeah, I kind of like the this build. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's gonna show how it works. And yeah, here, as you can see, again, not the most damage dealing mod, but again, as you can see, kind of slowing down. But again, for a beginner's weapon, it's still pretty good. It still does quite a lot of damage for something that's made for, you know, people around, you know, Mastery rank 5, Mastery rank 6, Mastery 8, 7, around that kind of stuff. Does put a lot of damage. I missed that one. How did I miss that? See the corrosive procking? Again, the proc isn't all the time. It's only a little bit. Also, we also increase damage with you know, obviously, what is it called? Let's go see. Again, there's no real point in me adding this because, you know, it's added on every single one, but, you know, it's just good to talk about it sometimes. Centeration. Also add centeration, which increases the damage, which also increases the slash. And again, you know, it's like the most. It's like a mod you're going to be seeing on every weapon. It's something that, you know, you know it's going to be build, unless it's like some builds where you don't really need that extra damage because the weapon already does massive amounts of damage in the first place. Which I found with the lens, as the lens was doing a lot of damage, and even without centeration, it was just destroying enemies. And I found out like I didn't even have centeration on. I'm like, oh god, that's kind of dumb. As you can see, already melting enemies. And for a weapon that, you know, it's made for beginner's weapon, it's doing pretty good. You know, you're only using how many shots I do, like 6, 7 shots. That's really good. Also, I'm just gonna quickly show off my other build I have for this, showing off, you know, how better with extra, what do you call it, extra critical multiplier is, how much damage it does. There you go. That's about 3 shots. So it is wise if you have Vital Sense to put it on. There you go. Again, it's not a very consistent proc with the orange critical proc. It's not really that consistent, but it's good enough for you to for it to be something that you can count on in battle. Again, you know, sometimes it doesn't always proc, as you saw before with that one enemy. But usually what I found at like 1 out of, I don't know, I mean 4 or 5 enemies, it's gonna proc at least once or twice. Sometimes it doesn't proc. Usually, you know, after like 4 enemies, it doesn't really proc. But yeah, I think this build right here is very good. I would recommend if you have Vital Sense, put it on. But if you don't, this build is also very viable, very good, and very doable. And I would recommend putting this one on if you don't have Vital Sense. And if you want to get Vital Sense, I would recommend searching up how to farm void containers in the void. That video tells you how to farm void containers, and void containers is where I've gotten Vital Sense. That's how I got Vital Sense, and I would recommend doing that farm. Very good farm, and gives you quite a lot of different other mods as well. I think it also gave me where is it? Hey, it got me Hell's Chamber as well, but that's only in shotguns. It also gave me Split Chamber, which is also really good. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please leave a like. If you dislike the video, please leave a dislike. And yeah, tell me why you dislike the video. And thank you for watching. Thank you for taking time every day for watching my dumb videos. And thank you. I'll see you later.